No, that's not what happens. The Ummah doesn't even understand in the Hajj of what Imam is saying in the khutbah. They don't understand, nor do they care. Because what they think is, oh, mere to sare guna maaf. I'm done.
Certificate
I'm
mil
clean
gaya.
as a, whistle. And I'm back.
Got that certificate as a Haji.
Yeah, and in Pakistan, people start changing their names. In the sign, Haji Sahil. With the
MashaAllah.
H-A-J-I, it's like, who are you kidding me with this? See, it comes from the household. It comes from that base box. When you were 3, that box is installed when you were 3. So these 5 things can be done by Al Capone. Doing what Al Capone does, being Al Capone. He can still do these 5 things. You know what I'm saying?
I think the people forget the fact that namaz is a training ground to
Yeah.
be the perfect ummati outside of the place of worship. Zakat is a training ground to show that you stand up for the oppressed and the weak with your wealth. 2.5% is just the minimum, but we think just 2.5%. There they are given
I know Christians. I know them personally.
Yeah.
Some of them are my teachers in university. 80 percentiles, 100 percentiles, 50 percentiles. You know what that means? All of whatever I'm making, I'm going to give away.
Wow.
You have to understand, these are non-Muslim Christians.
And that's where we need to take a leaf out of their book and implement that in our life.
Well, if you read the Sirah, you'll find out a 50 percentile in Sirah. You'll find out 100 percentile. You'll say Abu Bakr Siddiq, even selling his own house.
Yeah.
That 100 percentile priest that I am talking about, he didn't sell his house. Whatever he's making, because he knows he's made enough. Now he's going to give 100%.
Yeah.
Abu Bakr Siddiq is the guy who actually sold whatever he had.
Yeah.
Okay. Umar Khattab gave half of whatever he had. It's not about income. Okay. It's about whatever you already had.
Yeah.
Didn't have any income anymore. What I'm saying is, the current mental disposition of a Muslim
Yeah.
is corrupted at age 3, and by 11th year, by the way,
He's been fully brainwashed.
He's done. He is the enemy. I'm sorry.
So what age group are you targeting to be able to get into that brain before it's done?
Both the teenagers directly,
Yeah.
and those toddlers indirectly through their mommies and daddies.
So you have to target the mummy and daddy as
That's
well.
what
then?
I'm doing. Yeah, our parenting workshop is in London on the 23rd.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the beginning of the whole saga.
Okay.
My public sessions are not for just parent, right? I mean, there's so many kids there and youth there. So I have to draw the whole curve around the whole audience. That's
I think one thing I can see that you're targeting this whole movement at grassroots level because you're on a mission.
Yes,
And you're
yeah.
targeting the grassroots level where you may have missed this generation, but you're trying to get the next generation.
Yeah, I'm a 6-year-old missionary. I'm saying before 6 years, I was not into the mission. I wasn't teaching, but I was not in the mission. 6 years ago, I told myself that if you have to let them be in the game, that you gotta wear the same jersey on the pitch. You gotta have the same kind of bruises you're telling them to be ready for. So I have never had, and nor do I know anyone who had these kind of problems that I'm going through right now in my own country. There are cases being filed against me. The first time in history of Pakistan.
Censorship.
Oh, that's a small little luxury. I forget about that. The whole assembly, the parliament, came together to write a petition against me. One man, the Sindh assembly came in and wrote a petition against a guy
Saying what? What was in the petition?
to ban me
Why?
because I'm actually, changing the definitions.
Waking people up.
Changing the definitions, yeah.
Yeah.
The religious clergy is writing and speaking against me. Why are you changing the norms? Everything is hunky-dory. This is what you call hunky and dory? Where is this hunky from? And who called it dory? I mean, where is it? Who's okay with this?
So they're happy to maintain the status quo
Yeah,
and
yeah.
continue
Of
to live in their
40,000
bubble.
Palestinians dead, and
Yeah.
it is still is hunky and dory.
Yeah. So they're living in a
Imagine
bubble, no doubt.
Yep, and I'm okay with them living in a bubble. They're old folks, they're older than me, but I'm not okay with me in charge. And every old man is in charge for the young ones. And I am in charge. Every Muslim is in charge for all the kids in the planet. I will be questioned because I have influence now, and it's not by my doing. I mean, there are many people more eloquent than me, they have way more vigor than me, a lot more knowledge than me. But if I have had influence, which I do now, that means I will be questioned for it. So I'm not just like, going to shy away from this, because I don't expect my own son, my own daughters to shy away from this, nor do I expect any Muslim free man or free woman to shy away from his own duty. And this is a problem that everyone is going to face. is going to have to do the right thing. You're going to be battered, bruised, and bloody. And you better be. Because if I see a healthy man with no problems, I'm telling you this right now, you're not on the track of Islam. You got no issues, then something's wrong with you.
That's right.
Because in these times, if you do not have bruises, not just in your body, but your soul, you're not emotionally tortured, then I'm sorry, you're not on the mission of Muhammad bin Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Because if you're doing the right thing amidst the worst times, the worst powers, and they like you somehow, and you're not saying the right things. You're not, you're not on the
You're
same
a people
track.
pleaser,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. I mean, a friend of everybody, not a friend of Islam.
When was that moment of awakening for you when you realized that, hang on, this is a big mission here that I really need to rise up to?
As far as I can go back, I think I was in my teen before, when people started shaking me up. I'm lucky enough to have these kind of teachers, but quite frankly, I was swaying with the swings of this plan until I had my own kids.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you have kids, you just can't. There is no other choice. There is no other choice. And alhamdulillah, my second was also a daughter. And as soon as you have daughters, you generate this weird
More anxiety about the future.
And no, the empathy. A daughter brings so much empathy in a man that you can actually empathize with whatever. You get another sense, another radar inside you. So I, as far as I can do the math on my own timeline, I think this is where my seriousness took over, and I literally threw away a job and a career which I was doing really well in, and I opened my own setup, went totally free of cost, everything. Please, let's get these things started. And
Are you still running that model?
Well, more or less, but I couldn't just start because I learned it the hard way that people are not going to value anything if it's free. They just don't. It's human psychology.
True,
I
true.
should have known better. But still, most of whatever I'm doing is free, and I don't charge for my tours here and there wherever I go. I don't charge anything. However, I know where I have to put some premium on some services and some content, and where I can't.
Mm-hmm.
A general mass in Pakistan can't even afford certain things, so I can't just be like, you know what, because of your lack of seriousness, I have to punish you for it. I can't do that. But 90% of whatever I'm doing, more than that actually, other than some grades of content there where I know I require certain kind of IQ, and if I put a zero premium there, it's not gonna get that kind of effect. So we do that calculation really well. And I've got a big team, alhamdulillah. I'm talking about thousands of people.
Are you seeing the fruits of that labor? Are you making an
Oh
impact?
my God, alhamdulillah. I didn't think I was going to see. I swear to God, I'm telling you this right now. In the first 5 years.
Give us an example.
Last year,
Yeah.
since last year,
Mhm.
this Palestine thing, and because I was in Melbourne at that time. I was in Melbourne when October 7th happened. And I was in Melbourne, and when this happened, all of a sudden I threw away the content. It was a totally different tour. I was in Australia for a tour. I redid the whole content around Palestine, started doing podcasts, started doing interviews, started doing the public sessions. Literally from scratch I had, because it was...
So overnight you changed your content.
Like literally in a matter of hours before camera. I was due to speak in camera.
So what were you originally going to speak on, and what did you...
Parenting techniques, how to raise Muslims into,
Okay.
it's more like...
So how did the
psychology.
Palestine issue change that drastically?
Drastically. Then I put Palestine in the center, drew the whole root cause, tried to make people understand how they can contribute towards real things, not boycotting or.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
That seems to me like a little bit of a diversionary tactic in the sense that it's not going to have that same impact.
Not same. The word "same" shouldn't even be said here. It's not going to have any significant impact.
Yeah.
That's the word. I'm not saying don't boycott.
Do
it.
boycott, yes.
Yeah. For God's sake.
But don't be fooled by thinking that.
Don't think this is the thing that you're supposed. You'll be questioned for way more.
Yeah.
Way more. Because boycotting is for people who are on wheelchairs, people who are too old to do anything, able-bodied men and women. For God's sakes, you're not supposed to. And I'm against protesting as well. This gives this false, delusional.
That we are doing something effective.
I did my part. No, you didn't do your part. You didn't even do anything. You protested. Protest is when, when a person in the right place with the right belief system is not doing enough. Protest is to wake and shake him up.
Yeah.
Wrong people in the right places with the wrong belief system, you don't protest with them. You do politics against them.
So I'm a layman, and I'm thinking, I'm going to go out, I'm going to protest, join all these people protesting outside Parliament Square. So obviously we know now it's not having an impact. The war is still going on. There's no ceasefire being called. So what's your advice to that person? वो क्या करना चाहिए उनको? What should they be doing? Instead, especially as you said, the one who's intellectually, physically, in the prime of their life.
Yeah. Well, there's only one way to make a bigger change. Okay?
Yeah.
And we need a bigger change. And it is not rocket science, it's just common sense that all Muslims, especially in England, America, France, Germany, wherever, they are in wherever they have an interface where they can actually see it, whatever's going on. In Pakistan or India, well, I don't know about India, but Pakistan or the North Africa or Middle East, they can't even see what's going on because, a Muslim majority land, they can only see on TV or whatever the government is doing.
Mm.
In England, you literally see the other side of the
Because
picture.
of social media.
Yeah, no, well, England is actually fighting against Palestine. Arabia is not. They're just quiet.
Mm-hmm.
They're letting English
happen,
fight.
yeah.
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 So it's a totally different ball game. It's a different psychology. It's a different interface. So I personally believe that Muslims in England have to have a platform where they're connected with Muslims in America, like the Yellow Pages. Literally like the Yellow Pages. But Yellow Pages, they're individuals. I'm talking about platform where the people with influence are connected with from England, are connected with people of influence in America. People who have political say are connected with people in America or France and Germany. People who have business leadership with money are connected with people who have business equity in America, Canada, France, Germany. Unless they come together, I'm just not talking about a big number here. I'm talking about 20, 30,000 people only around the world, okay? But people, countries that actually matter, not countries like Pakistan. Even the biggest business leader is not going to count for much compared to somebody who's not doing that well even in England. So this kind of connection is the lobby that we need. This kind of political connection.
Just like APAC,
Yeah, there you go. Well, I call it the blockchain. So even if there are thousands of people coming together, all of a sudden we call the shots in so many things. And every Donald Trump knows that. Every Rishi Sunak knows that, and I don't know the name of the new one, okay? And every Barack Obama knows that. Every Justin Trudeau knows that. That's a formidable power. And I'm not even saying, just solve the issue of Palestine. That's the least of what this lobby can do. This lobby can actually call the shots on so many other things. But
so what you've just explained there, that's exactly what the current Jewish Zionist lobby have done.
Not just
Maybe
them.
they planned that 100 years ago.
140 to be exact,
Yeah.
in the sewage system of Germany. They were forced to live in the sewage system.
Yeah.
Only Thursdays they could come out and do their groceries, and then sent back on Thursday evenings.
Yeah.
They were planning. You know what they were saying to their kids?
What?
Next year in Jerusalem. Everybody said that to everybody. Next year
To keep their hope alive, huh?
to get the vision straight
Yeah.
and simple.
Amazing.
That's how a community is made.
Yeah.
But everybody's saying the same thing, and it is achievable and realistic. And at that time, I swear to God, it did not seem realistic to them. How
Yeah.
could they be in Jerusalem when they're in the sewage system under the streets in Germany?
So how do they do it?
That's how anybody has done it. You get the right people connected. Right people means morally correct, politically sound, mentally high on IQ, and financially independent. 4 capitals. You need a directory of these 4 capitals of people who are doing it in Melbourne, Sydney, New York, California, British Columbia, Ontario, and major cities in England.
So look how they've done it from the sewage system in Germany, but we at a much higher level at
Way
the
higher.
moment.
Way
Way
But
higher.
psychologically, we are the most inferior place. They were never a psychologically inferior spot.
Even when they were living in the
Even
gutters.
they were, because they were forced into it. Socially, they were
So
the lowest.
mindset was so powerful.
Because they were taking it from the Torah. We are not taking it from the Quran. That's why I keep saying that they are still the same Jews from the Quran. We are not the same Muslims from the Quran.
Where have we gone wrong?
We have gone wrong because we have isolated our kids from the Muslim community and put them into a sphere of their own familyhoods. And that's it. Just the definition. Mere definition, one line.
See, you're talking more like a small microcosm of the household, but let's take this up to a bigger level of government level, right? There's
Governments,
50 plus Muslim countries in the world.
No, there are no 50 countries in the world. No. Don't say that. See, that's the perception. Everybody, every Muslim, whoever's going to listen to this, there are no 57 Muslim countries in the world. Nope.
50 plus so-called.
No, they're not. I'm sorry.
Okay, well,
They
why
don't
do you
even
disagree?
live up to the definition of any country.
Okay, that's a separate conversation, but okay, I
No,
get
but,
that. I get that.
but we need to get the concept in psychology straight up. The boy and the girl who's listening was an 18 or 20-year-old.
Yeah,
Every Muslim country is either a state of America
yeah.
or a colony of England. Still,
Colony of?
England.
Okay.
Either a state of America or the colony. Some states in America are way more independent inside America, of America, than Pakistan.
So was Pakistan a state of
America.
or
Well, it swindles between America and China, but more America.
right?
The word sovereignty does not hold any meaning. God forbid if somebody reads the word in the dictionary, he's going to go into a psychological disorder. Because everybody needs it, right? I mean, as a human being, I need it. Every free man needs it, regardless of whether he's a Muslim or not.
So we're all under a delusion that we've got all these Muslim countries.
And that's my job and your job to break that delusion and start from the base that, that we have to admit that the stick is broken. Unless we admit it, we're not going to fix it.
Is there any country in the world that you would say that's remotely close to even resembling a Muslim nation?
Right now, no, not by far. Not even close.
Must be somebody you admire or think that. Okay, out of all these, there's one closest to the.
Within the countries, there are groups who actually try. Okay, and even Yemen, they're trying. In Pakistan, there's certain groups who are trying to get identity in. They're doing it so wrong, they're not going to be able to do it. And
They're doing it. They're trying to achieve it in the wrong way.
yeah, because they're not hitting the base definitions.
Okay.
They're using the current definitions and trying to create an emotional spin out of it. It doesn't work unless it's erected ground up. It's not going to last. That's why you do not see any success stories coming out of Pakistan in the name of religion. Okay, because
For a long time to come.
it's never going to come unless they change the definitions. Okay, Prophet ﷺ, he started from ground up. Okay, literally from ground up, because he worked on the definitions first. It took him 10 years to make a group, and even in Medina, the Bayt Uqba, the first, the Bayt Uqba, the second Bayt of Uqba, he asked for certain things. All of those certain things are political. He asked for politics. Unless you give me politics, I'm not coming in. No Muslim country is developing their diaspora. Pakistan government is not developing the overseas Pakistanis into politics. It is that simple.
The only connection they have with them is he keeps sending us the
Money. That's it. And that to charity.
And even then, you need a visa to enter back into your own so-called country of origin.
Yeah,
But again, that's a
and
separate
that too.
conversation.
They look at it. The whole. Yeah, well, let's not go into that detail. But no Pakistani government is enforcing their Muslim or their countrymen to develop the country through political realms. There are no power corridors of Pakistan outside Pakistan.
Yes.
For Pakistan. There are power corridors against Pakistan, but not for Pakistan.
You see, it's also a great indictment on Pakistan, as you know, Pakistan yourself, and so am I, that there's a big brain drain happening in Pakistan. At the moment.
I'm okay with that.
You okay with
that?
that?
Oh, I'm so okay with that. You know
Okay.
why? Because
Why?
if that brain was in Pakistan,
Yeah.
they wouldn't have had that kind of IQ anyway.
Yeah.
They became a brain after their daddies came to England and they were born here, and that's when they were raised into some IQ. In Pakistan, you can't even ask a Pakistani to draw Palestine on the map. Okay, so let's admit that we have a even if they were any brain, it was drained out a few generations ago. Okay, now kids are born Pakistanis in New York. They're still Pakistanis in London, in Birmingham, in Newcastle, in Irvine, in Houston. They're Pakistanis, way more Pakistanis than Pakistanis inside Pakistan because inevitable circumstances. Now, America developed them into a certain political acumen, certain financial acumen. America did that. Victoria did that to all English. She did the grunt work, and now every Englishman is getting the dividends, right? Muslim or not. Now, this has to be utilized. Thank God for whatever brain there was to make it outside and develop, and even if I don't want to use the word blossom, but they are doing way better than if they were in Pakistan, right? Now I need that muscle.
That
But
with the diaspora outside of Pakistan.
yeah, now they have some muscle, but if they combine outside the country, that's real muscle. We are still in Pakistan. I'm not talking about all Muslims here. In Pakistan, just Pakistanis coming together is 3 times more than all Jewish people coming in Israel.
Yeah.
3 times. I'm just talking about overseas Pakistanis. Not talking about 250 million of Pakistan. I'm just doing the numbers on Pakistanis outside Pakistan is 3 times more than Israelis living inside Israel. Because Jewish people living outside Israel is not even significant. It's like, it's not even. We have more people coming out of Islamabad or Lahore more than the overseas Jewish community in the world.
So I want to just touch upon this inferiority complex you keep talking
Yeah, I know.
about.
It's not inferiority complex. Inferior psychology. Complex is just one of the many things.
Talk about
Inferior psychology is when you limit yourself, your own self, and shrink your own naturally given attributes that God Almighty gave you when you were born, and you lower your scope so low that if you're not aiming for the target, you're never going to make it to the target, no matter what kind of technique you're going to use. We don't even let our kids aim for the globe, and we shrink them into our household so much that they use all of their potential by God to just do
a career.
Yeah, and not just for their own kids. Not even for their own kids, because of this psychology, their own kids rebel themselves out of their own daddies and mommies.
Look, I often give my own example. We're children of economic migrants, right?
Yeah.
My forefathers, my grandfather first came in this country in the 60s, or 50s rather, and they came here to earn money. And we was built into us, go to school, get good grades, go to college, get good grades, go to university,
So
get
that
a
you
good
can
job,
get that pound.
get a good job, build a good career, and live happily ever after. Nobody gave you that microcosm of, living on a bigger scale, thinking globally. This, for me, came at a very later stage. And one of the reasons of, doing this podcast is that we need to build our platforms to have a greater global reach.
Yeah, a directory.
Yeah.
A directory of Muslims for Muslims, a blockchain for Muslims. See, America for the Americans is a credo that they can use for the next at least 10 generations. And they're going to develop every American because of this vision. That's just like next year in Jerusalem. Same kind of power. I'm talking to you as a psychologist. Same kind of power, literally the same kind of power. Next year in Jerusalem, in America for the Americans. Same kind of power, different kind of people, different mindset. Okay? So Jewish community inside America does not live up to America for Americans because they know they're for Israel.
Yeah.
See the depth and the scope of the power for this one credo next year in Jerusalem.
So what should the Muslim mantra be then? If the Jews were saying
Next
year in Jerusalem,
Muslim mantra. Next year in Jerusalem.
inshallah.
Inshallah, yeah.
Yeah. So this again is all about building that character.
Vision. The what now?
Vision, but from that vision, you're going to build that character that's going to fulfill that vision.
See, no. I asked this rabbi once. He was teaching me political science. I asked him, how are you, what drives you to develop Israel? He's a rabbi. And he said, I don't know why you Muslims get it wrong every time. I was 20, 18, maybe 19, 20 at that time. And I used to poke a lot of questions into him. He was like, listen to me, man, I don't know, tell me something. Why do you guys get this wrong every single time? It is not the Jews who are actually empowering or strengthening Israel.
Interesting.
And I said, then who? I said, no, hold on. He said, hold on. It is not the Jews who are empowering Israel. It is Israel that is empowering and strengthening the Jews. See, if you have a bigger vision, you need to develop the muscle to achieve the vision. So vision is strengthening you. So if you're going to compete for the Olympics, you'll have to train 1,000,000 times harder than if you're training for the Birmingham Marathon. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the vision, the purpose, cleanses and develops the traveler towards the purpose.
Right, of course.
That's why I'm saying next year in Jerusalem for all Muslims. Now we need to develop the muscle.
Yeah.
And for that, we need just these 4 things. Financial, political, mental, and moral in the reverse order.
From a religious perspective, what is the role of tazkiyah in developing the human, especially the Muslim, in order to be able to fulfill these worldly goals?
Flip it. Flip it. The word is correct, but the perspective is wrong. The word is correct, obviously. But it's not the tazkiyah that I have to do for my own self. I have to make you go to the tazkiyah. 2 billion people go to tazkiyah.
But I have to start with myself first, obviously.
No, not at all. See, if I have to do a tazkiyah for 500 people, it'll naturally do my tazkiyah because people are not going to listen to a word I'm saying if I'm not living up to it. See, the purpose is cleaning me. But if I limit myself to my own tazkiyah and I'm going to spend 50 years on my own self and before I actually say a word to you, I don't know how many generations I'm going to waste, which of course we've done.
We've done. We've done.
And by the way, that the religious clergy right now is the reason, and I'm saying it on camera, staring right in the eyes, whoever listening, is the reason why the Muslim youth is not coming into Islam. Because they're saying, after the Seerah that you've learned, after the Quran that you've, put word to word inside your hearts, this is what you have to show for. This is what these things do to you. This is what happens if you know the Quran by heart and you teach the Seerah and your performance is this, then we got to find another solution, buddy.
Yeah, it's true. And unfortunately, we've not given them the right role models, the young generation.
No, well, the role models are going to come if you have the right perspective. See, this perspective, current definition, is not going to be able to produce any role models. It's singleton. Singleton is not going to do anything.
Absolutely.
Unless we are producing babies who are for 2 billion people worth of community, we're not going to have any role models. I'm telling you, an Olympian is trained for the Olympics from day one. He doesn't just happen to come to the Olympics. He's trained for the Olympics for years and years.
So we need to start telling the babies Jerusalem next year.
Yeah, you're a global sportsman, buddy. You're in the bigger game. Then they're going to require bigger careers, stronger careers, way bigger performances, a lot more money.
What you've said there, I mean, I'm totally in agreement with you but at the same time, there's a lot of people who think that if I want to be religious, I can't have a good career. If I want a good career, I can't be religious.
Yeah. And that's a natural side effect of the current definition of Islam. That's why I'm saying soak this word career into Islam, the Quran and the Seerah, and then make the baby swallow it when he's 1 or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Unless you're soaking in Islam, because someone's going to soak it in so well in whatever he wants to achieve. Big shiny red cars and Ferraris and those big plots and those big...
Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that.
I know. But it's going to actually make him divorce Islam because we have isolated the word career.
No.
And hence we see people are feeling guilty just about making money. They're guilty.
I remember I was talking to somebody in Pakistan and they said that my son wants to go to Hifz in the madrasa. And I said to him, no, don't go there. We're going to send you to such a private school or state school because you're not going to earn any money. Madrasa mein jayega to kya kamai karega tu? We're going to have to send you, build a career. So that, speaks volumes about people's perception about religion, about the people who go to the madrasas and get religious education. That for them, it seems like it's no longer relevant in today's modern secular society.
Hence the parenting issues and the cries and hues coming out of mommies and daddies about what their kids are up to, and they're just not, they've created monsters, And I don't blame the kids. Because that's a natural reaction to a fractured psychology coming from upstairs. It's like, I would not do anything else other than whatever our kids are doing, just to create a statement. Because we have nothing to show for when we give Islam to our kids.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I'm better off being a humanitarian. And that's why you see problems like LGBT and, this new age philosophy of, be a good person, and that's it. And
the left wing in this country.
Yeah. It's not just this country. It's everywhere in Pakistan.
Mm-hmm. So in Pakistan as well, kids are questioning their identity as Muslims?
It's not just Muslims. They're questioning the very belief system of Islam, not just their identity. You see a million people club of Pakistan Association of Atheists.
Really?
Yeah. And you think those are the only atheists? No. Every house is all at one. He's just stuck in his own bedroom watching YouTube in the night when everybody's asleep because he's aware that you're not going to be able to answer any of his questions.
Or they're too shy to come out.
Yeah, atheist in
Scared.
isolation. That's what I call him, atheist in isolation. He's never going to say he is, but he is. I was doing a corporate workshop in Lahore, and there were teachers there, and the head of Islamic department of FC college, head of Islamic department, was an atheist.
Really?
Yeah, a bearded
Openly.
Molvi openly was like, you know what? I'm from deep down, I'm an atheist, man. I just lost the belief. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing teaching Islam? He said, I'm teaching whatever's in the book, man. I was a Muslim once.
I
It's
mean,
my job.
in that same respect, you've got sort of Islamic studies teachers in the UK schools who are not Muslim.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
hold on to your knickers, as they say in England. RME is coming in England. It is already installed in Scotland. It's coming down English
What's that,
way.
sorry?
RME is all the religions combined into one religion, and they're going to shove it down the throat of our kids in England.
It's happening. It's happening in the
In Scotland, it is
It's happening in the
official.
UK as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
called RME. And of course, every English person knows about this. So a child cannot be a Muslim by the choice of their parents. That's mandatory in Scotland now. That's not far, by the way. I'm in Birmingham.
Scary. But look, you shared some great insights. And these things will not change overnight. As you said, look how long it took the Jewish community to
It didn't
achieve
take that
this.
much. It took 2 generations, by the way. I'm very hopeful because they were, you know how many they were? There were 160,000. I'm talking about those people who actually did the first, what's the word? The survivors.
Made a sacrifice.
Yeah. The rest of them are all, everywhere else. I'm talking about 2 billion people. I just need 1% of them. If we can get one, forget all the Muslims, just Pakistanis. 250 million. I just need 20,000 overseas Pakistanis to put their kids into this one kitty. And I'm actually offering right now on camera, and I'm going to Leicester on the 17th, right? And I have this little model I'm going to present in Leicester. I was waiting for Leicester. Actually, I was waiting for London, but, it's going to come in after Scotland, so it's going to come in its own time. My company's name is Source Code, right? I am willing to take all the masjids on my payroll so that they can just facilitate the programs I have for the kids. All you have to do is make the child stay for an hour more than after Jummah prayer for his teaching and training. And all I need is to connect all the masjids to get all the kids coming in together. That's where the parents are going to come in. Stay for another hour. Mm-hmm. And if school time on Friday, do it on Saturday. And all the masjids who think, oh, you know what, this is something we cannot do, I'll pay you for it. This is not something I'm making money, I'm actually giving money here. So that at least in England, and why I'm doing Leicester, because Leicester is the most densely Muslim populated city in the country. And there are more than 300 masjids there.
They've got a very educational, good network.
Yeah. I've got so much. That's like a potential gold mine for all Muslims. So Leicester, I'm offering this right now to all England, all Scotland, that your administrators in masjids, I will pay them literally salary every month if they can do a weekly program for the kids of their own community to come into the masjid and then get all the masjids
Just
connected.
give me a little flavor of what is that curriculum that you want them to learn.
Yeah, it's Sira. Skill in Arabic, I am going to teach them Arabic myself. I have more than 150 teachers training more than 1,000 classes every day in source code. More than 1,200 classes happen every day in source code. Mm-hmm. I have the faculty, and I've got a million more teachers coming up because of the advertisement that we do in the Middle Eastern countries. I have teachers from Syria, from Yemen, from Iraq, from Saudi Arabia, a lot more than Saudi Arabia, Pakistani teachers who are trained into Arabic. So many. I'm going to teach them Arabic and Sira and activities which are at community level so that they can come into a sense of community. Competitions where tasks and projects are going to be given to the child inside the masjid for the neighborhood only. And once they've done that, level 2 would be for the city. Level 3, all England. And level 4, globally. So kids from Melbourne will be coming to London for the conferences every once in 3 months. Mm-hmm. So they can present, they can connect with each other, and from entrepreneurial skills of how to actually establish himself to religious skills of how to actually understand his Prophet ﷺ and understand how to use everybody in the community to come together in terms of moral, mental, political, and financial capital. These 4 capitals have to be trained as a curriculum over 3 to 4 years. If a 7-year-old comes in by age 15, he better be equipped with the right knowledge structures and the skills. 2 or 3 basic skills where he actually can establish himself as a resume that people can look up to. You know what? And you know what? He doesn't really need a resume for himself. His resume is how many people are connected with him. And it's my job, people like me who have a platform, where I can give you Melbourne, I can give you New York, I can give you Houston, because they're all connected in my platforms.
MashaAllah.
All I have to do is put our Muslim kids inside the masjid. So the masjid can become a central role, or a university for that matter, in the global awakening of every child coming into these four capitals. That's all. I mean, do it for your own kids, don't do it for me. And everyone wants their kids to have more money. This is one of my pillars. More influence and more credibility. Political capital is my pillar. More IQ, mental capital is my pillar. So it's a win-win even if you're a capitalistic, selfish, self-centered parent.
But okay, even if you're unable to get into these, infiltrate into these educational networks, why can't you just create this academy online? So
I have an academy online.
Okay.
I have 18 faculties running online.
Okay.
But people think I'm doing it for the money there. It's okay. If you want to subscribe for that, it's come to your own home. It's a school in your own home for all homeschoolers. You can.
Does that cater for full-time education?
Yeah, it does. It caters to actually way more than that. Way more subjects than what England or America or any country is going to offer, because we offer from Arabic to Islamic foundation courses, going into specialization of Seerah and the Quran, from mathematics to physics to chemistry, biology, you name it. Everything is on, because I have a school. That's what I'm an educationist. But this is an offer so that we can train our kids into a community, because my source code, my students are already in a community.
Yeah.
That's what I train them on.
Yeah.
And there are more than 82 countries worth of students coming in. But they're in single isolated houses.
Yeah.
I need England, because you guys are 3 generations. You Pakistanis in England are older than King Charles. He was born when the Pakistanis were already here.
Yeah.
So in America, that's not the case.
I myself am a third generation.
There you go. In Australia, they don't even speak English. I had to go to Australia. They said Angrezi nahi aati, Urdu mein baat kare. Abhi bhi to aaye.
Really?
That's the first generation there, right? In other than Sydney, because Sydney is the only city with second generation immigrants.
Okay.
Melbourne, they just came in. I mean, it's so young. As 30 and 40-year-old immigrants are there, Pakistanis. America, second generation. Denmark, Scandinavia, second generation. Only in England, it's fourth generation Pakistanis.
Yeah.
We were here way before Pakistan.
Yeah.
Okay, so we speak the language, we know the system, we're inside the blood, we're going through all the veins of England, so we have the right potential here. In America, we do not. Canada, can't even think about it. We're too less in number. France, Germany, no, we don't have the numbers. Spain, don't have the numbers. Australia can't even do the math in this one. They're too new. So only England has the potential.
Wow.
Where all I need is 500-600 masjids, where kids are going to sit down together, act like a group, and step 3, they'll be connected to masjids in Houston and in Melbourne and in Milwaukee and in Toronto and in Vancouver. So that all of a sudden your babies will be global celebrities. See, I'm speaking the language of the current definitions right now. Your babies will be global celebrities. People will listen to them. They will have 20 points higher in the IQ because of this global interface. They will be writing articles, books. They will be published. They will have business networks. They will launch a product. Millions of people will already be the customer of that product. So they're millionaires right on the offset. Everything is set up. All I need is parents to send their kids to the masjids. That's it.
MashaAllah.
Only if masjids hold my hand, we'll administer, man. It's not zero cost. I mean, I'm paying them.
Look,
And that's not something I'm doing it for source code, okay? I'm not charging any money for it. If you want to go into source code and get a full-time tuition done for my school, the source code, www.sourcecode.academy. Go there, find out that is a full-time school. This is a developmental community. I cannot do it online. A website is not going to create a skill for bringing everybody together into performance, right?
especially in their own localities.
Yeah, I cannot. My website is still a website. Leicester is an actual city. London is an actual city. Edinburgh is an actual
But are
city.
you able to do that in Pakistan though? Localities like
In Pakistan, a masjid is a barrack. You cannot enter a masjid unless you're from the same firqa. Okay? And if you are going to make a lesson or a lecture inside a masjid, they're not going to let you unless they approve it according to the firqa, and only a Jummah sermon is going to happen. No one can say a word other than the Jummah prayer, and that to that guy who actually is appointed by that firqa.
Yeah.
Pakistan, a masjid is a barrack of a firqa. England, it's not the case. Everybody knows it. Masjid, you guys treat it a little bit, not too much, not at all close to what I want it to be. But England, anybody can go into a masjid and have a little bit of a ceremony there. Kids are going to come in together. And by the way, English community has a lot more hold on the English masjid. Pakistani community has zero hold on the Pakistani masjid. It is a totally different department in the government, a ministry there. They actually make sure everyone's pleased, every firqa is pleased, because it's going to become a big problem. It's a lot of red tape around this. England, there is no such thing. So, and every Muslim wants their kids to go to the masjids. Everyone. That's like a dream child. He goes to the masjid and studies and gets connected to people, talks about, he gives lectures. Your 12, 13-year-olds should be giving lectures and sermons inside in the masjids where everyone's listening. And if you're speaking in Leicester, some kids in Melbourne are listening. Imagine that. This is so easy. It is right there. And if they're not going to do it in the masjid, I swear to God, they'll be doing it in their own YouTube channels, talking about dance and movies and video games and whatnot. They're going to do it because that's what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
All I want them to do it in their masjid, talking about seerah, talking about politics, talking about making money, talking about raising their IQ, physics and mathematics, talking about equations, training other kids. Imagine what you're going to get in the day of judgment if we can come together like this.
I just sense, I can feel that passion, and that shows a man on a mission.
Inshallah.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give you more time, energy and barakah in what you are doing. And really is, amazing work that you are doing. And inshallah, we hope we can obviously continue this conversation offline and see how we can, plug into that vision as well.
I need help from everybody, especially people in your position where you can have influence over. Because, as I said before, and I'm not talking about just words here. I'm actually offering money here, right? So that people would know that, I'm putting money where my mouth is. Mm-hmm. If a masjid cannot have any financial problems, because, it doesn't make any money to get kids together. I am willing to put that masjid on my payroll so that people would know that Muslims have to take the first step.
MashaAllah.
And I'm talking.
And that's an offer that people cannot refuse.
Yeah, so that people, the shaitan is going to put the bus aside. No, maybe he's trying to, get some money out of it. No, I'm actually paying the money for it. I need 50,000 Muslim kids, especially teenagers, connected together. Because if they put 10 years in, then we are next year in Jerusalem right away.
Game changer. That's going to be a game changer.
We are in Jerusalem.
Inshallah. It's been a great honor and pleasure to host you. And inshallah, I'm sure this is going to be one of many conversations to come in the future.
Oh, inshallah. Anytime.
Jazakallah.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. Barakallah.